Hey Ready, it is Quicken and welcome back to another episode of Tattoo Talk Tuesday. If it is your first time joining us, Tattoo Talk Tuesday is our weekly interactive tattoo talk show where I take users' suggested questions and I lend my experience to you guys as a tattoo collector. So this week, it's a little bit of a different setup, a little bit of a YouTuber setup, but this week I'm going to answer a question where I need to sit at the computer. So here I am. Here's my bedroom. There's my cat. There's a lot of my plushes over here. Obviously I have no depth perception. Here we go. So I wanted to start off this week with a pretty interesting question that I feel like as a modern consumer, a lot of us are faced with questions like this, so I thought I would give it an honest go, and I got this on Tumblr. So here it is. Hey, I have a quick question about artist reviews. There is a tattoo artist I am planning on going to this weekend for a consultation, and he has really good reviews, and I like his work for the most part, but there is one review on Yelp that is just horrible, and I'm kind of nervous. Do you think that I should continue with the appointment or cancel it? Or can I just ask him about it? I just want my tattoo to be perfect, but I don't want to let one bad review ruin the experience for me. Thanks. So, I think we all have our own opinions of Yelp, whether we've been burned by a Yelp review, if we work in customer service, or if we've left our own Yelp review that burned the server who got us. Burn them! But as someone who has been directly impacted by a frivolous Yelp review, and maybe you can relate, I feel like I am on the other end, where I have definitely been reprimanded or even fired because of a Yelp review that was definitely at customers' fault. Now, I know it is difficult for us to find tattoo artists that we love, and my advice to everyone is always find a tattoo artist who can do no wrong by you. And it's hard because that guideline is sky high. Someone who can do no wrong. So what do? We type their name in the internet. We find their Yelp. Now, I have never really found an artist by a shop, and I have never found an artist through Yelp. But I am someone who strays 1,000 miles away from Yelp because I believe that it is a toxic website. And although I think it was created with good intentions, it has turned into a place where people feel like, I don't know, they're in charge of their entire existence, their entire universe. So my advice already from the beginning is that it sounds like there's a ton of good Yelp reviews, which is a good thing. And if there's one bad Yelp review, I think with that statistic, it might be human error. But you never know. I think human error kind of sounds really broad, and I think as people who believe that we are omnipotent beings, sometimes it's really hard for people to believe that they were in the wrong. But sometimes people come from different worlds and different walks of life, and they enter societies like tattooing, and it's an unfamiliar place for them, and people don't like asking for help, and people don't like feeling like they aren't familiar, they don't belong. And honestly, my beauty school had a Yelp page. That's how serious this is. A beauty school where you physically sign a contract that reminds you that you are having your services rendered by students and not trade professionals. And even those reviews are a great drinking game. I'm going to read 2 reviews that are definitely about me to you guys, and I can explain to you through the entire process where it was human error, customer error, and not Quicken error. So, I used to work at a coffee shop in a big open farmer's market. It's been called a farmer's market. I'm not going to tell you what place it is. I genuinely enjoy their coffee. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. So, here is one of the reviews that I'm going to jump into right away. And excuse me if you hear my bias during it. These reviews are ridiculous. Like, we got a review once, and I clicked on the lady's page, and she had reviewed the airport. Did you review the airport? Nothing's gonna change. Nothing is gonna change the airport. The bathrooms were subpar. Yeah, they are. It's a fucking airport. So, I'm gonna leave some stuff out. Don't witch hunt this. So here is this review, and it's from 2014. This is not a review as I normally write it. It has nothing to do with the quality or the taste of the product they sell. It's more about the customer service and what happened to me while I was there, and why I won't go back. I'm in Philadelphia about 2 times a year, and I always go to this coffee shop while it is one of my favorite places. This is what happened to me on the 30th of December, 2013. As I went to the counter and talked to a girl with long brown hair, glasses, and who was heavily tattooed. What if I have kids? Really? You're gonna shoot me in the foot like this? I told her that I wanted a pound of white tea that they have on their board. She got ready to write the order on a little paper bag, and she wanted to fill the bag with loose tea. When I saw the bag, I told her that a pound of tea would not fit in there, and it would be too small. She kind of looked at me irritated and grabbed a bigger bag and charged me $27.50 before weighing the tea. I told her that I was stepping around the corner to get myself a cup of coffee, and she filled the tea bag. Then she goes on to talk about what she ordered and how she felt that day, and I don't know, the air and the taste of remembrance while she was in Philadelphia, her biannual tea. Let me tell you that white tea is very light, and it was a big bag, or let's say it was bigger. ... Something felt weird about it though, and I had to shop for a few other items and then went on my way. Oh, it keeps going. I came home to Asheville after a 9-hour drive. That 9-hour drive is Quicken's fault. Unpacked and went to bed. The next morning, I went to cook my tea, and I had actually bought a half pound of tea at a different place, so I looked at the 2 bags in my kitchen, and then it hit me. The one was a half pound, and the other one was supposed to be a pound. They didn't look much different, well, besides the one in the plastic bag. So I weighed them, and I was pretty upset and disappointed. This lady has a scale at her house for tea, and found that it was 230 grams. That's a half pound, not a pound. I paid $27.50 for a half pound of tea. Wow, thanks for nothing. Maybe a little education for the people who work for you would be a good investment, ? I will not be back. So, besides the fact that this lady completely roasted me on our business-affiliated Yelp page, and called me out personally by identifying me as being brown hair and heavily tattooed, all that aside, that's ridiculous. That's a whole other episode, Tattoo Talk Tuesday, whatever. And why was this a whole storybook? This is 5 paragraphs. I left some stuff out about her personal life, some other identifying things. What the fuck? First of all, but here's the thing. If we go on to my old coffee shop's website and just scroll around here, you can buy their tea and whatever online. If you go on here and click choose an option, they sell an 1/8 pound, half pound, and quarter pound. And if you choose half pound, it's $27.50. So our coffee shop doesn't even offer a pound of tea. So she ordered a half pound of tea, received a half pound of tea at $27.50, and then somewhere along her 9-hour drive back to Asheville, I guess decided that she had in fact ordered a pound of tea. So we don't even sell a pound of tea. I don't even think we keep that much tea in there to begin with. But I don't know if you remember those Snapple commercials where they're like, we use the finest white tea. We wake up early in the morning and we pluck just a leaf of white tea that takes 6 months to cultivate in the dew. Something like that. White tea is expensive as fuck, y'all. So here we go, looking up white tea. So if my mom would have went to Tijuana to get loose tea, so Tijuana sells tea by the pound. How much is it there? $138 for a pound of white tea at Tijuana. So not only do I feel like this woman got a great deal, she was looking for a pound of tea, but she physically couldn't even buy a pound of tea because our store doesn't offer it. She could have bought 2 half pounds. But all of this just seems so aggressive already. She gave it 1 star, and she's checked in 3 times. So she gave it 1 star. She outed me personally as an employee, so really she was like out for my neck, identifying me like that, which is already so messed up. Like, my boss wasn't like computer age and computer savvy, and my boss like didn't go home and troll Facebook. She went home and like read a book and turned the light out and fell asleep. So for someone who isn't like very computer savvy, reading this review, already they're thinking, wow, Amanda really messed this up. And it's not consumer error, it is customer service error. But if you're like me, you know, if you're in your 20s or 30s or whatever, you read this, you're like, wow, that is a common over-exaggeration on the internet. So I think, you know, I did get in trouble for this, and it was a foggy December morning. I had only worked there at that point for 3 months. So, like, this didn't get me fired, but it definitely could have. And the woman complained that she got ripped off for $27.50, but that's how much it cost. On our website, that's how much it cost for a half pound. She paid for a half pound, she received a half pound, that's how much it cost. This was all really consumer error. And I bring this story up because this was somebody who just was out for blood and who just wanted to type on the internet. Like, she included so many details in here that are so frivolous to her point that I think it's really inappropriate, and it is not it's not an appropriate snapshot of my ability as like a customer service provider. Did I give her the half pound of tea? Yes. Do I have tattoos? Yes. Did she get the tea? Yes. So I don't really know what she wanted me to do unless she wanted me to drive her back to Asheville myself. But you can see that the way this is phrased would be something that could be really bad for me, the person who was clearly identified in the review. So I don't know your tattoo artist personally. I don't know what the negative Yelp review was. However, if it was something along the lines of consumer error, then I think that that's something that has to be put into play. Like, I have seen bad Yelp reviews that are like, he wanted to charge me $80 minimum for some initials on my ankle. He was really aggressive and rude about it. And on the other side, in the tattoo artist position, it's like, yeah, I've been tattooing for 10 years. If you want my skill set to be activated, it has a minimum. And I definitely feel that as well. I think there was I think most of us remember that big case, that big ho-hum review about the woman who wanted the neck tattoo. Can I remember what that's called? I forget. Well, anyway, there was this big thing about this woman. She had a blog and she wanted to go and get a neck tattoo. And she wasn't very, apparently tattooed. And she went to New York Adorned, which I've been tattooed at. A lot of us have. It's a big place to be tattooed in New York. So she had this big whole thing about the tattoo artist wanting to refuse the neck tattoo. And she was like, I'm paying for a service. I want it. And he was like, well, my integrity is a part of my craft, and I don't want to give it to you. So she made this huge Yelp review. She used his real name. She used Adorn's real name, when really all it was an issue of consumer error. I think, going back to the original question, if your tattoo artist has 11 great reviews and the 12th one is weird, maybe investigate. I always say, like, click on that person's profile. Like I said, the one lady had reviewed the airport. Like, some people are just on Yelp and they use their real photo and they just, like, want to be on Yelp and they want to be a little fucking tattletale and stuff. But there are so many times where more and more Yelp reviews that have been, directed towards me. The girl who served my iced chai today couldn't have acted more disgusted by the fact that I was choosing to visit her coffee shop. The chai was disgusting. Okay, you never know. Like, I don't know if this is directed towards me or not, but you never know what people are going through. You never know if they're tired, if they're covering someone else's shift, if they wish they could have called out sick and they couldn't afford it because their student loans were due next week. Like, I think it's really crazy. Like, this person, obviously, this could be about me, but they weren't, like, the girl with tattoos. So many times I was just outed because I had, like, a specific identifying factor about myself. And you never know. So I say, make your own opinions. Like, obviously use Yelp if you need to, like, if you need to look up a menu or something. But I'd say take everything in jest. And, I mean, if this is your very first time watching my video, or if you've gotten to know me over some time, I think maybe you might know that I'm a hard worker, and that I would never pee on someone's grave, or I would never pocket some lady's loose leaf tea. Like, she made me pay before she gave it to me. Yeah, yo. Do you want it or not? Like, at McDonald's, I didn't give you a Big Mac and then ask for payment. It's not the fucking honor system. It's customer service. So many people would always get so offended by that process. And it was absolutely crazy that us baristas actually came up with, like a fake little dialogue to, like, desensitize these, like, hyper-entitled people. And they would be like, can I get this coffee? And I would be like, yeah, $13. And they would be like, well, I'll pay after you do it. And I'm like, do you think I'm gonna disappear? I have to be here, or I'll be homeless. So what do you think's going to happen? We actually had to come up with some fake excuse that was like, oh, I'm sorry, that's policy. Like, we can't use the scale unless we put the card through. One guy was a police officer, and he was like, do you think I'm gonna run away? And I was like, I don't think anything about you. I've been standing here all day. I haven't had a pure thought all day. You could disappear, and I would blink and forget everything. This is Tattoo Talk Tuesday. Share with me down below your juiciest Yelp experience ever, because I am so hungry for a delicious Yelp story. I can't tell you how many times my friends and I have just all sat around and talked about just bullshit Yelp reviews that have nearly cost us our jobs because of something as so simple as two people being on completely different wavelengths in a situation that honestly doesn't matter at all. This is Tattoo Talk Tuesday. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. Let me know what you thought about this video style. I had a lot of fun doing this and just directly answering one of your questions. Let me know. Hannah Overboard is going to be on the channel next week, and I am so stoked. Show her some love if you know who I'm talking about. And I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.
Hey everybody, it is Quicken, and I know normally we do a tattoo talk video on Tuesdays, but today I'm going to talk about something that is a little more